For the first and second acts of M. Night Shyamalan's film Split, the Beast is this spectral presence of foreboding that hangs over the many different personalities inhabiting Kevin Crumb's body. And they talk about him amongst themselves in the dark interior of Kevin's mind and build him up like a piece of legendary internal lore.
The Beast is a sentient creature who represents the highest form of human's evolution.
Disbelief or fear seems to be what most of the personalities feel, except that is for the small cohort that the others have named the Horde. And you could maybe even say the awe the Horde feels towards the Beast borders on a kind of fear too, but they're set apart from the others by the fact that they're also filled with an eagerness, like prophets awaiting some fearful god.
Heath, on the move.
And what's the reason for the different way the Horde feels about the emerging beast? I mean, all the personalities have individual defining characteristics. Barry's into fashion, and Jade inexplicably has diabetes. But what's the main attribute that sets the members of the Horde apart from all the other personalities? And the answer is, they're unified in that each of them was clearly specifically born from trauma. Patricia's obviously a surrogate matron figure who emerged to fill the void left by Kevin's actual mother, who viciously abused him throughout his entire childhood. Dennis is the compartmentalization of the OCD Kevin developed because of his mother's obsession with cleanliness and order. And based on the references to Dennis's fascination with having girls dance naked for him, I think we can assume he's also an embodiment of Kevin's stunted sexual development. And Hedwig is the part of Kevin which was permanently infantilized and frozen in time by his traumatic childhood.
How old are you?
9?
And the reason why the Horde are so enamored by the Beast is that he's also a result of trauma. Albeit I think it's safe to say a much, much stronger reaction to it than any of the others. And we can start to build a case for exactly what traumas he's a reaction to by following the clues the film gives us. The Beast, his central doctrine is that the severity of trauma a person's experienced is the determining factor of that person's worth.
Those who have not been torn have no value in themselves and no place in this world.
Now, this definitely runs counter to how Kevin's been treated over the course of his life, ostracized and thought less of because of the effects of the abuse he suffered, and especially because of his dissociative identity disorder. So it makes sense that Dennis, Patricia, and Hedwig would be drawn to a powerful figure who, I guess you could say, legitimizes their suffering as something glorious to be valued, rather than something to feel diminished by. But the Beast doesn't only legitimize them to themselves, but also to the world at large, because his abilities are so outwardly obvious and formidable that in witnessing him, the world will be forced to believe in the reality of Kevin's personalities having identities as distinctly separate people.
They're gonna believe we exist now, right?
They're gonna have to.
So it's pretty easy to get why the Horde would feel such an intimate connection with the Beast's doctrine. And we get this really surreal scene of them buying flowers on their way to meet the Beast, almost like they're going to meet a long-lost family member or something. Which is especially symbolic considering the Beast is emerging at the same train station that Kevin's father used to abandon him many years earlier. And I really think that the arrival of the Beast marks a changing of the guard and the filling of that gaping wound in Kevin's life. And however savagely violent he might be, the Beast definitely fills the role of a hyper-masculine father figure, an unshakable monolith of physical power and authority, and I guess a sort of directional certainty too. But I also think there's something much darker than just Kevin's need for a paternal presence in his life that gave birth to the Beast. Inside Kevin's fractured mind, there's an undercurrent of built-up anger and resentment of the world and the other people inhabiting it. Something that found a lot of kinship with the snarling jungle cats that pace back and forth behind the bars of the zoo where Kevin works. In Split, we only truly get to meet the central personality of Kevin Wendell Crumb for one short moment during the entire film. So what we know about him, we have to learn through watching the traits of the alters and then putting pieces together. And despite all the ferocity of the Beast personality that's erupted out of him, the thing to understand about Kevin is his central defining emotion is fear. Fear of the way his disorder separates him from everyone else and leaves him isolated, of the true nature of his condition being derided or just completely dismissed altogether. Fear of losing control of his many personalities and of his life.
Kill me. Kill me.
And also, most of all, fear of other people and the pain they've inflicted on Kevin and the separate personalities he's fractured into. And the Beast is a terrifyingly equal and opposite reaction to that fear. But you know, I don't think the Beast only embodies protection for Kevin from the external threats of humanity, but also freedom from his own humanity. The thing that's made him vulnerable to the pain and damage inflicted on him, not only by his mother, but also a lot of other different experiences and people since then.
You know, we're gonna have to take care of ourselves, and nobody even believes that we exist.
Often villains are characters who are trying to subjugate or wage some kind of external war on their fellow human beings. But the Beast is interesting because despite his shocking, blood-soaked nature, through him we can see that Kevin's conflict with mankind isn't so much with the external. No, really, Kevin's war, it's one with the humanity inside himself. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see others like it, make sure to show me by hitting like and subscribing.